Hello YouTube, this is Old School from WhatTheBuc.net coming to you live from Valrico, Florida. Sorry it's been so long since my last video. Had a couple people ask me about it. I want to get out here and get a Cowboys video posted. It didn't make any sense to do any sort of a Texans review because that was all 3s and 4s. Didn't really mean a pile of shit. But the McCown trade is the last thing that was of any interest. A couple of other roster moves. We're down to our 53, and we've got our Week 1 game against the Cowboys. I've got a dual hat bet going on with T. Spence and Born a Cowboy because they both hit me up at the same time. Our hat bet is pretty straightforward. They win, I get them a Cowboys hat. We win, they get me a Buccaneers hat. The only twist is that our next video we have to wear that hat during the video, and you can't clown it up. You got to admit the other team beat you. As was pointed out really well by Cowboys Bill, I'm not in the trash talking deal. We had Ray come on from CNS. A lot of respect for what you guys do. It's just not what I do. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the game. The Cowboys have a pretty ridiculous record with opening games for the season, 33-15-1. That's almost ludicrous. They come into Tampa to face a team that most experts pick in the final bottom 5 of the league in the rebuilding year. Young coach, young staff, young players. Defense is very thin in the secondary. Linebackers very thin on experience. Some power on the offensive line. Some weapons on the offensive side of the ball. But there's a lot to be said. Or a lot to be discovered about whether they can come together as a team. When you face a Cowboys team that is pretty much stacked on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, the offensive line is massive. The average is like 326 pounds, 6'6". That's just a wall of man. Running game is very, very solid with Marion Barber, Felix Jones, Tashard Choice behind them. Receiving, a little bit weak probably. Roy Williams, I don't think he's no T.O. I don't know that he's going to step up and be that #1 guy for you guys, but apparently he's done well in preseason and in practice. Even with the injuries. Tony Romo, he sort of is what you expect. He's faded in the stretch repeatedly, but he's got all the talent in the world, great accurate arm, keeps plays alive. He's a threat every time he takes a snap. I think against the Bucs, the thing we're going to be most worried about are your tight ends, Jason Witten and Bennett, because our linebackers just flat out don't have the experience to know all the conditions under which they're going to come out into the routes. I think the keys to the game for the Bucs, we got to kind of change the way this looks. You guys are coming down to Tampa. From what I understand from the Cowboys fans I've talked to, Dallas camp isn't necessarily particularly strenuous. Coming down to Tampa at this time of the year, it's going to be high 80s. Probably the weather forecast says 88 degrees, probably about 85% relative humidity. Visiting team's going to be on the sun side. Y'all be in the dark jerseys. All that meat coming from a fat guy. The trick is going to be to make the fat guys be fat and grind it out. So the Bucs offense is going to have to handle it with the running game. Our offensive line a little different than yours. Not the big, beefy, gigantic guys. More sort of smaller, athletic guys. Just implemented his own blocking scheme, implemented by Coach Jagodzinski, who was summarily then dismissed. Coach Manjurian is continuing that. 3 good backs on our side, too. Cadillac Williams coming back from multiple horrific knee injuries. D. Ward that we got from the Cowboys, who hung 6 yards of carry on you guys twice last year. Good back, decisive back, one-cut back, really kind of well-suited for the zone blocking scheme. And Ernest Graham, who has done a good job for us when he stayed healthy. So hopefully we can get to basics. The plan for the Bucs this year was to be very, very basic, play smash-mouth football, be conditioned better than anyone else, and run the ball, use run to set up play action hit long. Left switching the quarterback is going to be a huge target for your boys like Ratliff and Ware. That has got me scared to death. We're going to have to establish a running game to make that happen. We're going to have to exhibit discipline on all aspects of the game, being a young team, having very little bit margin for error, whether it's lane discipline on the defensive line, whether it's backside discipline so that we can protect from the cutback runs, whether it's lane discipline on coverage on kicks. We don't have any margin for error against a team with the talent that the Cowboys have. This also goes into penalties because penalties can be a deciding factor, especially when you talk about fatigue, and fatigue is definitely going to come into to play Sunday at 1 o'clock. And then we got to build our identity. The identity is supposed to be smash mouth and running. We're going to have to see whether Coach Morris and the team is willing to actually stand by that, whether the offensive line can bear that burden. I hope they can. So I think that when you see the game Sunday, a lot of Cowboys fans are pounding their chest right now talking about a 3-touchdown victory. Guys, I don't know how you're coming up with that, to be quite honest. I mean, I know it's fun to do that. Maybe it's just part of the trash talking thing. But, 6 of the last 9 of these games were settled by 5 points or less. Last time we played you guys, now obviously you didn't have Tony Romo, you had Brad Johnson, which it's amazing that you guys were able to win that game. 172 yards of total offense you guys put out. It's just mind-boggling that we got beat by Brad Johnson, our ex-quarterback, considering what a statue he was. We got 3 sacks, broke Ware's sack streak, Donald Penn manhandled him all day. I'm pretty sure Ware remembers that. Donald's going to have his A game on because you guys are going to be coming nonstop. I do predict the Bucs victory because I always do, and when I do that, what I'm saying is if they do everything right, this is what they can do. I think that they can win because I think in this league, if you can run the ball effectively and you can play defense, you can be competitive with anybody. That's why I just don't understand people saying a 3-touchdown victory. I mean, that's just nuts. I think I could be wrong. You guys can hang 60 points on us for all I know, but I just don't see that happening. I don't see it being logical. So. I am going to go on record saying the Bucs win, obviously, because I got a hat bet on it, or 2 of them. My prediction is 21-17, very tight game. I think it's going to come down to fatigue and conditioning, and I think that's going to be the difference for you guys. And I think we're going to shock the world a little bit by winning this first game, because to be honest, we have no pressure. There's no pressure on the Bucs. No one expects the Bucs to win. In fact, one guy actually said we go 0-16, despite the fact that it may take more effort to go 0-16 than it takes to go 16-0 in some ways. But if you asked 100 people right now who's going to win this game, 100 of them are going to say the Cowboys. And so all of the pressure is on you guys. The pressure is on Tony Romo, on Roy Williams, on Marion Barber. To a man, it's on everyone on that sideline, because if y'all don't come in here and absolutely whip the crap out of us, that's a loss to you, right? Your NFC East people are going to be all on you. So we're happy flying under the radar. We don't know what we got yet. Just got a bunch of young guys. But we're going to go out there and try and play some smash mouth football and see how it works, and hopefully that running game will come through for us. We've been averaging greater than 4.4 yards a carry. If you do that every down, you can win a game. So we'll see you after this, and hopefully we'll have some more information. We've got some Cowboys fans going to come tailgate with us over at WhatTheBuc.net. I'll have a map posted in the next couple of days. If you want to come over and tailgate, it's a good time. We should have a good time for it.